Hi, I'm Kimberly, and I am new to YouTube. I've been watching it for several years, but I just decided to make a channel. I have so much to talk about. I'm not real knowledgeable about how to do the videos. I've tried 4 times today to record one about domestic violence, and somehow I lost my videos. It wouldn't let me upload. It said that my iPad was out of memory. So welcome to my channel. Please hit like and subscribe, and you can even share my video. I am not a professional in any way. I just talk about domestic violence because I lived through that. And I was married almost 10 years. We had 3 children together. He was very violent, mostly in his words. He would call me really horrible names, mean names, dirty names. Um, he was like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde sort. He would, of course, be nice sometimes go a couple months without, threatening me in any type of way, or being mean to me. But other times it was like came home from work late one night. The roads were very bad. Had about a 40-minute drive from my job to where we lived out in the country. And I was about an hour late home from work than I normally am because the roads were snowy and slippery. And when I arrived at home, my husband tried to accuse me of being with somebody, and I was trying to swear up and down that I wasn't, that I was driving. Um, I even almost slipped off the highway at one point in time from the roads being so bad, and the tires on the car that I was driving were pretty bold. But so when he pinned me up against the refrigerator, my back was towards the refrigerator. He was in my face. He was threatening me. And the next thing I see is his hand go over my head. And next thing I know, a gun was put to my head. And he was yelling at me, screaming at me, calling me names. And all I could think of was my life was flashing right in front of me and that I was going to die in front of my children. And it was a nightmare. And I just want to say that domestic violence does not discriminate. I was very shy back then. I'm still a little shy, but now I pretty much stick up for myself. Back then, I didn't stick up for myself very much. I lived an awful life in my past, um, struggled with being accepted and different things like that. I was always apologizing. I'm still that way to this day. After almost 10 years of marriage, I had left 12 times off and on throughout the years. Finally, the 13th time, I left and grabbed my 3 kids and went to a domestic violence shelter. And I never looked back. And of course, there was times where he begged for me to come back and he would change. But I found out that the 12 times before, they don't change. You go back and it may be nice for a few months, 3, 4 months, and then you're right back into the same cycle again of violence. A lot of his um, abuse was verbal abuse, and threats and stuff. But even if they're not pounding on you with their fists, it's still abuse. You're going through a lot of mental abuse. I'm not licensed or anything. I am just talking to you on my past experience with domestic violence. And when you leave them, you never tell them. Like all the 12 times that I left, before I finally left him for the 13th time, I never told him. I would pack everything up. I would wait till he went to work. I'd pack the car down and I was off. But as soon as he contacted me and begged for me to come back, I never stayed away longer than 2 or 3 nights with the kids, and I went crawling right back because I had nowhere to go. And so it's tough. And I found out years later when I had all these different symptoms of shaking real bad to where you can't stop shaking and it feels like your nerves are just jittering through your body. But I found out later on that I had really bad severe anxiety, panic disorder, severe depression, PTSD. There's numerous others that I don't remember exactly what I was diagnosed with about 26 years ago. But looking back, I've had some of them symptoms since I was in elementary school, you know, and of course that was way before I got married. So I just think it's trauma, some trauma from like your childhood, or um, and then throughout life, when you go through hard times and difficult situations, it just builds everything up in you and makes matters worse. Um, I also want to say that I used to be, um, I after I went through this with my husband for all them years, I used to hate men after that. I wouldn't necessarily say anything to the guys in person or anything, but in my mind, I hated men. I didn't trust any men. I held so much anger against, you know, the males. But I have to say that after many years of reading on stuff and going to counseling for many years, that domestic violence does not discriminate. There's plenty of women out there that are abusive and are very violent to their significant other or their wife or husband or whatever. But just in my situation, everyone's situation is totally different. And I just want to say, if you need help and you're being abused, please reach out to someone. Do not tell your abuser that you're planning on leaving, because that can make matters worse for you. That could very well put you in a very dangerous situation. I do have a number, 1-800-799-SAFE, SAFE, 1-800-799-7233. That's the National Domestic Violence Hotline. So I'll probably put this into several different videos, since I haven't learned how to allow the videos to let me record for as long as I need to. It cuts me off, so I don't know if that's something in my settings or what it is, but I tried to video off my iPad, and then it kept kicking me off after about 5 to 7 minutes. So now I'm trying to do this off my cell phone. And like I said, I'm new to YouTube, so I'm probably going to learn something new every single day. I would just want to start out talking about how domestic violence is so damaging to a person. I felt like I was a victim for so many years. It felt like much more than the almost 10-year marriage that I had. And, I was constantly apologizing and saying I'm sorry for things that I never even done. And I felt like I always needed to apologize to him. There was times where he would grab me on the arm and tell me he was going to burn all my clothes, cut all my clothes up. And I said back to him one day, well, I'll just buy all new clothes, and he started choking me. But yeah, so there were so many different situations and in that relationship. And sometimes for many years, it was very tough to talk about. I couldn't talk about it without crying. Now I'm able to talk about it sometimes to people to try to help them out. And I really encourage anyone who is going through any type of domestic violence to please reach out and get some help. Um, you could be saving your own life. I used to say, oh, well, he's not punching on me. He's not giving me big bruises. He never broke any bones on my body and stuff like that. So I was always trying to find an excuse of, I can put up with this. This isn't as bad as I thought it was, because I knew I had nowhere to go. And, but the thing is, I had to learn that no matter how mean he was to me physically or emotionally or mentally, that abuse is abuse. So I didn't have to walk around looking like a punching bag, and I didn't walk around with any broken bones. But I had to learn that that type of behavior is not okay. The person that's abusing you does not love you. I really feel that in my heart. I can specifically talk about my situation, and I feel like it's with any situation, whether it's the male that's the abuser or the female that's the abuser. I feel like if they really loved you and cared about you, they would not abuse you in any sort of way at all. I can understand there can be arguments over finances or anything, but I feel, in my opinion, that there is no good excuse to be an abuser. I feel there's nothing that a person can do that justifies abuse at all. So I thank you for joining me, and hopefully you've liked and subscribed, and there'll be more in the future. Thank you.